If there was one concept that I would suggest to people to take a daily confrontation with, is fear. The problem with fear is that it lies. God placed the best things in life on the other side of terror. On the other side of your maximum fear are all of the best things in life. I'm telling you, the confrontation with fear is an absolute magical way of facing the things we have to do in this life. You know, forget security, live for experience.
All right.
There's a certain naivete to youth that is powerful, right? When you don't know something, like not knowing can be a real power because you're aggressive, you know? So I feel like I would ask my young self for advice. I realized that through my rise as a movie star, I sort of narrowed the things that I would allow myself to do. I was talking about the genie on Aladdin and what I could relate to, and the genie wears shackles, right? So the genie is essentially a slave to his power. I became so popular as a movie star, and there were only certain behaviors that were acceptable from Will Smith.
Right.
So I sort of set myself free and allowed myself to be able to do all the things that I want to do. And for my 50th birthday, I decided I'm not going to be trapped by the persona that I've created anymore.
But I wouldn't have it any other way. I love being able to make people smile and cheer, you know, over that. But I also am going to boldly go to new creation. I do want to aggressively go forward and do new things and create and hopefully be able to stumble upon a new heyday.
I am certain and I am committed to being who I am and how I want to be without a craving for someone's approval, right? Because I know their approval doesn't have anything to do with me. The greatest tragedy is when you look in a broken mirror and you're going to change your face to try to look good in a broken mirror. You know, sometimes we get stuck in these situations where we're seeking the approval of someone for our self-esteem.
Yes.
Self-esteem is about yourself. You can do everything right and it still go wrong in terms of outcome.
Yeah.
And you can do everything wrong and it still goes right
in the outcome.
In the outcome. When you try to use the outcome as a measure of the quality of your own being, that is the kiss of death. Doesn't mean don't do anything. It means do your divine duty, whatever that may be. It's the only thing to do, right? So, and that's to learn, right? We have to free ourselves from the darkness of our own ignorance. One of the things that I learned is that if I feel bad, if I'm unhappy, if I'm upset, if I'm disrupted or disturbed, the only thing that could do that is my ignorance. As I settled down and, you know, came into a deeper understanding of my power and my desires in the world, it was easier to connect to people in a loving way.
I'm really driven by continually trying to elevate my mind and elevate my spirit and care for my body and to be able to love as many people as effectively as possible with this mystery of life that I've been given. I have a mission statement. So every year for probably the past 10 years, I've worked out a mission statement for myself. And for the last few years, the mission statement has stayed the same. And it's been improve lives.
When I play a character who believes something that I don't believe, I have to learn how to feel something that's in opposition to my truth, which is a spectacular skill set. It's been such a powerful inner process of development to explore acting in conjunction with spirituality and supreme absolute truth, to explore that as my job is fantastic.
I always have a hard time with characters whose basic mindset, their basic life perspective is that far different from mine. I start to try to figure out what he wants. Like for me, desire is right at the center. Like what is the thing that the character can't live without? I start with the basic three questions. What does he want? Why does he want it? And what's going to happen if he doesn't get it? So it's that really bizarre psychological leap. And I'm always looking for that in my characters. What's the bizarre psychological leap they make based on some trauma? Loss is bound to joy. Like pain and suffering are bound to joy. The being able to survive something is actually a big part of being able to find that next wave of joy. You appreciate smaller things.
From sitting on this side of the experiences that I've shared, there's no such thing as a bad experience, right? There's experiences you don't like.
And they hurt.
Right? But to define something as a bad experience, for me, has not been true. There's always the other side of the coin, and in my experience, I've cultivated only positive things out of the most negative experiences of my life. There's always an aspect of us that when we feel unloved, in any capacity, in any relationship, when we feel unloved, when we feel mistreated, when we feel somehow disrespected, and we haven't done anything to deserve that kind of treatment, it's really hard for the ego to not click into revenge. So the problem is that when you seek revenge, you destroy yourself. And that's the paradoxical conflict that we all live in. The only answer is loving kindness. And most of us don't want to hear that. It's like, I'll take my chances with revenge. I can't do loving kindness. And for me, I had such a beautiful example of loving kindness in my grandmother when I was growing up. I always knew I wanted to be that. I always knew that was my example, and I think that's the critical part. We need an example. Somebody has to be an example. That's really where I am in my life right now. I want to show what it looks like to be loving and kind and giving and forgiving. I feel stuck in a perplexing situation with people I love where there's not clean answers, right? If you want to fight, we can fight. I know how to fight, but how can that be the right thing? You are always bringing poison to the party. And when you recognize that in any difficulty you're having with any human being, you brought poison to the party, it opens up entirely new avenues of connection and compromise and solutions that you can create with a person. I think that is a part of my DNA, part of it from difficult aspects of my childhood, I grew up with violence in my home, and I just became really hypersensitive to emotional movement in a room as a defense mechanism. The gift of structure and the gift of breaking tasks down. You set the goal, but the breaking the tasks down into smaller, manageable pieces was a thing that I came out of my childhood with. There's a poisonous edge to that kind of discipline. And I've been to the edge of that kind of material world discipline in my mind. And I can tell you, you can have a whole lot of stuff and be miserable out there. I was like, how could I be the biggest movie star in the world, be the best at all of this, and how you not love me? Right? And, how was my family miserable? I had equated winning with happiness, right? It's like, we're winning. What is y'all problem? It was military minded. We're going to get that flag to the top of that hill. And then after I got the flag to the hill a couple of times and kept getting the flag to the hill and realized that you don't feel good and you've scorched earth, around you, and you're like, nobody's really happy, but it's really hard to get people to let go of the attack and defend achievement mindset and trust the care and concern for your fellow humans as a way of creating higher production.
It can potentially be helpful and help someone else. So it was powerful to be cleansed of the foolishness of the game of numbers and awards and all of that type of stuff.
Life is a perplexing situation, and you're never going to get around being stuck in the duality. You have to elevate above the whole thing. That's what life is. You are born into a perpetual, perplexing situation.
For me, laughing is the elixir, and that was another thing that my father taught me. He was joking all the way up to the end. Like, laughing, you have to be able to laugh at everything. When I'm looking at something, I'm always trying to find why that's funny. And, it's been really, really helpful in this experience and even just this point in my life. Remember to laugh, and spend time with people that make you laugh.